this bad. I got with all my money, but I just can't win the fight. I'm slowly drifting a vagabond. Just went out and I know I better I didn't know. He told me that I was not alone. Turn me around, place my feet on solid ground. I think I should, I think it's good, because you healed my heart, changed my name, forever free. I'm lost. I think I should, I think it's good, I thank God. I cannot deny what I've seen. Got no choice but to believe. My doubts are burning like ashes in the wind. So long to my old friends. Burden and bitterness, you can't just keep it moving. No, you ain't welcome here. From now till I walk streets of gold, I'll sing about you, save my soul. This wayward son has found his way back home. You pick me up, turn me around, and place my feet on solid ground. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior, because you hear my heart, changed my name. Forever free, I'm not the same. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior. Oh, I thank God. I lost no one, I am free. I am free. I am free. I lost no one, I am free. Oh, I am free. Oh, I am free. I lost no one, I am free. I am free. Oh, I am free. I lost no one. Oh, I am free. Oh, I am free. Place my feet on solid. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior, because you healed my heart, changed my name, forever free. Help me sing. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior, I thank God.
Steady shakes the mountain top. The only word that breaks the person's heart. There is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus. Wonder, I'm saved. No other name but yours. Name but yours. No faith. No wonder, I'm saved. No other name but yours. Name but yours. There is power in the name of Jesus. Listen to these words. Oh, there is power in the name of Jesus. awakens a calmness that is found in you alone. And it washes over every doubt, every imperfection. Jesus, your presence is the comfort of my soul. And there's nowhere I'd rather be when you sing over me. I just wanna be here with you. I'm lost in your mystery. I'm finding your love for me. Oh, I just wanna be here with you. Here in the waiting, I won't worry about tomorrow. No need to focus on the things I can't control. All my attention on the wonder of this moment. Jesus, your presence is the comfort of my soul. And there's nowhere I'd rather be
desire more than your presence, God. Although we want more, you to be with us, Father. There's nothing more to you.
So let all that I am be consumed with who you are. Oh, the glory of your presence. What more could I ask for? What more do we ask for? Let all that I am be consumed with who you are. Oh, the glory of your presence. What more could we ask for? So let all that I am be consumed with who you are. Oh, the glory of your presence. What more could I ask for? So let all that I am be consumed with who you are. The glory of your presence. What more could I ask
So let all that I am be consumed with who you are.
Oh, the glory of your presence. What more could I
This is
ask
our prayer tonight.
for? So let all that I am be consumed with who you are. Oh, the glory of your presence. What more could I ask for?
God, we come before you tonight. Nothing else to ask but for you. God, nothing else matters but you. God, thank you for the space that you've invaded tonight. God, thank you for your presence in this place. God, I pray tonight that we don't leave the same way that we came in. God, we just pray for your spirit to come. God, I thank you for this time that we've had to worship. I thank you for your presence being here. God, I thank you for all these awesome people that I get to worship with every week. God, I thank you for precious and holy name. Everybody said, Amen. Thought it was on. There it is. Hey, what's up? Can we get it one more time for the worship team? You guys are just so stinking good. Like, just so stinking good. I don't know if I'm allowed to say stinking in church, but I just did it like 3 times, so I don't care. I have a microphone, so I'm the boss. Well, welcome. So good to be with you guys. I love you guys so much. Like, I really do. And my name is Evan, by the way, and it probably sounds weird saying that I love you because I probably don't even know all of you in this room, but I just love you guys so much. I started counseling today, and I started talking to my counselor, and I was just telling him how much I love Wednesday nights. And it's just the truth. Like, I love spending this hour and a half, a couple hours with you every Wednesday night. It really does fill my soul. So thank you for being here. I know the weather is super nice outside. You probably would rather be outside right now. Honestly, I'd rather be outside too, but we're in here and I'm excited. I have a word that God gave me tonight, and I'm just really excited to share it with you because I love you. And we're in this series called The Sixth Man. All right, so this is week 3 of our series in The Sixth Man, and you're excited that March Madness is actually happening this year. Yeah. So we missed out on it last year because some sort of virus that was going around, and we couldn't have it. But this year it's back. I spent like all day Friday, most of the day Saturday, most of the day Sunday, and pretty much all day Monday just watching basketball all day long. College basketball teams I don't even care about because Ohio State lost on Friday because they stink and I'm sad, still bitter about it. But I love March Madness. I love waking up and like watching basketball from noon to like midnight. I mean, 12 hours straight of basketball. It's just so much fun. And these guys are playing with everything they got because it's all for pride. It's not for money. It's pride from their school. I'm excited that March Madness is back. And so one thing you probably don't know about me, I am actually a pretty dang good athlete. I'm a pretty stinking good athlete. I've said stinking a lot today. That's just how excited I am. But I'm a good athlete. All right. So here's the thing. I never did the varsity sports. I didn't think I'd be able to be that. They weren't that good for me. I always did the rec ball. I always did like the JV kind of stuff. We have some pictures. Oh, let's start with that first picture. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. That's me. That's my first year ever playing basketball. I think I was like 5 or 6 years old. Averaged 2 points per game. That's right. That's consistent. 1 basket a game. That's all I needed. That's all I need to get that team the dub. Right, next picture. Yeah. That's freshman year of high school. Literally didn't play a single play all year long, but I got the uniform. And it looks like there's like 4 or 5 of us that fit in that uniform too. But hey, I played football for the girls, and it didn't work. All right, next picture. Yeah. Yeah, that's me, cross country. That's right. That was my junior year of high school. I posed for that picture in the middle of my parents' kitchen. I'm not sure why I'm wearing the headband because it matched the uniform maybe. So my junior year of high school, we didn't have actual like organized sports in the fall because the levy failed, but we had a running club, which I was a part of. I ran for fun. I don't suggest doing it unless that's your thing, but we ran. It was just cross country. And this is my senior year of soccer. I do have like a good sport picture there. Senior year of soccer, I didn't play varsity, even though I should have. I made JV though. I think I was shooting that ball and I just missed it completely, but whatever. The picture looks cool. So yeah, I'm a pretty good athlete. All right. So, and I think that's why Bailey invited me to speak this month because she had Pastor Matt, who's an athlete, Pastor John, who's our sports pastor, he's an athlete, and then there's me, who's also an athlete. So I think it just kind of ties into why I'm speaking tonight. And before I get into what I'm talking about, I do want to share like a career highlight of mine. I've been doing the men's basketball league for like the 4 years. We just finished it up the past weekend, and this is my 4th year doing it, I believe. Oh yeah, the mascot. We have a mascot picture as well. Sorry. Senior year, I couldn't play football because I sucked, but I got to be the mascot. Look at that, 3 girls right there. Look at that. That's right. That's right. Honestly, that thing, I hated that thing. Even though I got kisses from girls, I hated it because it didn't rest on my shoulders. It just rested on my neck, and it was hot, and it was sweaty, and it was stinky. But I got in the game for free and kisses from girls, so it was worth it. So as I was saying, I played basketball this last 4 years through the Naz Men's League. And the first year, nobody wanted me to get the ball. So I think I scored 9 points all year long in 7 games. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is probably my athletic peak, like 2018. All right, so I was what, 25 years old, maybe 26. My athletic peak was 26 years old, and it's declined ever since as well. But 2018, first game of basketball. All right, second year in the league. I go first half. I drop 2 points. Like, okay, this is my average, whatever. Second half, within the first 5 minutes, going for a steal, shoulder pops out of place. Or I have to get out of the game. I have to go out of the game, pop it back into place, go back into the game, end up dropping 19 points. Yeah, 19 points to finish the game. So for one game in my career, I averaged 19 points a game. And I finished the season averaging 7 points a game. So that's just to show you how bad I am at sports. But that is my athletic career in a nutshell. And yeah, that's me. I'm an athlete. JV athlete, 2-star JV athlete. I played some varsity a little bit too every once in a while. Not really though. Just because I was a senior. But we're doing a series called The Sixth Man. All right, so if you don't know what The Sixth Man is, we've kind of talked about it this month, but it's something that, it's the player on the basketball team who comes off the bench. He's not the starting 5, he's not one of the 5 best players, but he comes into the game and he still makes a difference even though he's right off the bench. And tonight I'm talking about my favorite guy, one of my favorite guys in the Bible. You don't really hear about him a lot, but you might have already. His name is Zacchaeus. Anybody ever heard of Zacchaeus before? He was a wee little man. Yeah, Zacchaeus. And there's a song called Zacchaeus was a wee little man, because he was a wee little man. But we're going to read in Luke chapter 19, verses 1 through 10. I'm going to go ahead and read that for you real quick. It says this. It says, he entered Jericho, which was Jesus, and was passing through. And behold, there was a man named Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was rich, and he was seeking to see who Jesus was. But on account of the crowd, he could not, because he was small in stature. So he ran on ahead and climbed into a sycamore tree to see him, for he was about to pass that way. And when Jesus came to that place, he looked up and said to him, Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for I must stay at your house today. So he hurried and came down and received him joyfully. And when they saw it, they all grumbled. He has gone in to the guest of a man who is a sinner. And Zacchaeus stood and said to the Lord, behold, Lord, the half of my goods I give to the poor. And if I have defrauded anyone of anything, I restore it fourfold. And Jesus said to him, today salvation has come to this house, since he also is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost. I don't know about you, I find it really encouraging when I read stories in the Bible and I can relate to those people, right? That's what I love about the Bible is they're not like these superheroes, right? They're not they're not the Avengers, they're not like DC comic people, whatever they're called, Justice League, those people. They're not like Harry Potter or Star Wars, they're all like normal people, right? So I can really relate to him. I love Zacchaeus because I feel like I'm so much like him. And looking back into verses 3 and 4, Zacchaeus, we get his first description, right? He's a small guy, right? He's a wee little man, small in stature. And Jesus was passing through Jericho. All right, so just think of somebody super famous, passing through the town and everybody finds out about it. And all people want to do, sometimes you can be 10, 5, 25 people deep, but just want to be in that vicinity, right, to see this person. That's what Zacchaeus wanted to do too, but he realized he was a small person, so he couldn't do it. But Zacchaeus was seeking to see who Jesus was.
right? And Zacchaeus was small, so he had to climb this tree to see who Jesus was. And he couldn't stay where he was, because he knew if he had stayed where he wasn't going to be able to see Jesus. So he had to change his viewpoint, he had to change his location. The reason we talk about the very first slide, it says this, it says, we will have a hard time seeing Jesus if we continue to stay where we are. We will have a hard time seeing Jesus if we continue to stay where we are. What I can respect about Zacchaeus is that he was willing to do so. He was willing to change where he was to see Jesus. He acted on his desire to see Jesus. And I think a lot of us recognize that what we are doing isn't enough, right? It's not fulfilling. It's not giving us life. If anything, it's draining us. We become super invested in our schoolwork. We become super invested in our friendships or in our relationships. And we aren't willing to give up what we think we need or what we truly need. And it's not really just enough to like recognize that we need Jesus. Like, I know I need Jesus. I know you guys need Jesus. And that's not me like casting judgment on you. That's just recognizing that we all need Jesus. But that's not enough. Right? It's not enough to just accept that the things are the way that they are. Right? That's just the beginning. You have to be willing to change where we are. You have to be willing to give things up that will be the hardest to give up. And it takes a lot of persistence. It takes a lot of sacrifice, and it takes a lot of risk. Because maybe you've tried. Or maybe you've tried giving up things to see Jesus. Maybe you think that whatever you've done already has been enough. Maybe you go to church on Sundays. Maybe you do all the right things. Maybe you don't do all the wrong things. Maybe you bring your friends to Naz YTH on Wednesdays. Maybe you show up every week on Wednesday. And those things aren't bad. I'm not saying to stop doing those things. But what I am trying to say to you is that those things aren't enough by themselves. Right? We have to begin, to not just look like the world, right? But to truly, truly try to see Jesus. Because Zacchaeus, he had to climb into a tree. Right? He had to climb into a tree. He had to change where he was. Because he recognized who he wasn't going to be able to see Jesus. And that was what he wanted, was just to see Jesus. So he climbed into the tree. I don't know if you've ever climbed into a tree before, but it's not fun. Right? Probably could have fallen out if we wanted to. Right? But we have to be on a completely different level than everybody else. Right? We can't look like everybody else and follow Jesus at the same time. Right? We have to look like Jesus. And again, it takes persistence. Right? So maybe you're doing these things and it's not enough, but it takes persistence, it takes sacrifice. I've learned as I've journeyed with Jesus, I've learned that a life with Jesus is much less about what we get in this world, but way more about what we have to give up. So if you want to follow Jesus, you have to be willing to give up things. But it takes sacrifice, it takes persistence, it takes risk. It means we could be losing friends. Right? So maybe there's friends in your life that aren't offering you life, right? They're not giving you life, they're not serving you a purpose. It could be me leaving your boyfriend or your girlfriend. It could mean like waking up earlier in the morning, right? Giving up that time that you're asleep just to spend time with Jesus. Whatever it is, it has to be different than what you are right now. I want to jump in onto verses 5-7 real quick. I'll read it again. It says this. It says, "And when Jesus came to the place, he looked up and said to him, 'Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for I must stay at your house today.' So he hurried and came down and received him joyfully. And when they saw it, they all grumbled, 'He has gone to the guest of a man who is a sinner.'" So Jesus was walking through Jericho, like I said, right? And he saw Zacchaeus up in the tree, right? And he called out to Jesus, and he called out to him. And then Jesus invites himself into Zacchaeus' house. That's my next point. Jesus sees you as who you can be. Right? He doesn't just see you as who you are. He sees you as who you can become. All right? I don't think Zacchaeus expected Jesus to see him up in the tree. Sycamore trees are pretty leafy. I was talking to my parents last night, and they've been to Israel, and they've been to like all those places where Jesus was, and they saw the actual tree that Zacchaeus was in, or like the type of tree that Zacchaeus was in. I think that's pretty cool. But sycamore trees are leafy and they're big. And I think Zacchaeus was probably just hoping to see Jesus, right? Like I said before, like Jesus was just passing through the town. He didn't think there was enough time for him to even like down to him. Zacchaeus was hoping to see him. But Jesus not only saw Zacchaeus, he invited him down from the tree and then invited himself to Zacchaeus' house. So one thing you should know about Zacchaeus, as we read in verse 7, people were kind of confused. People were like, does Jesus even know who this guy is? Like, this guy's a sinner. He's going to eat, he's going to be a guest at a man's house who's a sinner, right? So Zacchaeus was pretty hated by people around him. He even hated himself a lot too. So Zacchaeus was like a tax collector, right? So he didn't really have a boss. He would just go to these people's houses. I just did my taxes yesterday, and it's not fun. You're just like pretty much giving the government money, and you get a little bit back sometimes. But Zacchaeus would go to these people's houses, and he would take their money, and he would decide however much he wanted to take. So he would just like, you look like you have a lot of money, so just give me all of it. And they'd pretty much have to listen to him. So he would steal from people, he would cheat people out of their money. People knew him as the guy who would cheat and steal from them. But I think the coolest thing is that it's not like Jesus was naive to this, right? It's not like Jesus didn't know who Zacchaeus was. These people knew Zacchaeus as the chief tax collector. They knew this guy as this guy who stole, as this guy who cheated people. But when Jesus calls out into the tree, he calls him by name. Jesus called out into the tree where Zacchaeus was hiding, and he called him by name. He doesn't call him by his job. He doesn't call him by what he's done or by who he says he is. He calls him by his name. And I think a lot of you are waiting for Jesus to call you too. Jesus is calling you by your name. And I bet a lot of us in here are carrying the weight of the things we've done in the past. I bet a lot of us are carrying shame and guilt and fear. But a lot of us think there's no possible way that anybody could ever love us. If they knew who I really was, then there's no way they could really love me. And I know a lot of you in here have made a huge mistake in your life. And I bet a lot of you in here have made a lot of little mistakes in your life. I'm raising my hand too. I'm there. I get it. I mess up every single day. But that's the beauty of the grace of Jesus. There's just so much beauty in the grace of Jesus because he doesn't call us by those things. Like when we make a mistake, society likes to pin it to us as if it's our name. We might as well wear a name tag everywhere we go saying exactly what we've done. And I see it all the time in society. All the time on Twitter, all the time on Facebook, and all the time on Instagram and social media and the news. Things are brought up. Things are brought up from people's past. Whether they said it 7 weeks ago or 7 years ago, right? People are canceled every single day, right? Jesus doesn't cancel us like society does. He doesn't ever hold those things against us. Or I'm not asking you to tell me what those things are, or I'm not going to tell you everything I've done either. There's a lot. I don't have the time. But what I am telling you is these people in this story, they didn't understand what Jesus was doing. And I think a lot of people in today's society are acting the same way as these people did. Because Zacchaeus was probably hiding in a tree. I think Zacchaeus knew where he was. He knew what he had done. But the thing about Jesus is he calls us out of the tree to come down and be with him. And he's not naive to what we've done. Like he knows. You can't hide from him. You can't actually hide from Jesus. I'm sorry. I know we try to sometimes. You can't actually hide from him. But he calls out to where we are hiding and into a life with him. Where does your shame take you? Right? Where do you want to go when you feel like you aren't enough? Because I think that somewhere along the way, someone or something made you believe that you aren't enough. Maybe it's because you got rejected by that guy, or you got rejected by that girl. Maybe it's because you got cheated on. Maybe it's because you got your heart broken. Maybe it's because you're constantly comparing yourself to everybody else. Where do you go when you feel like you're not enough? And I just want to take a couple minutes here and just kind of speak from the heart, because I see this everywhere I go. And it just shatters me. And I wish I could speak from a place where, like, I got it all figured out, but I don't. I want to talk to my girls real quick, the girls in the room. You don't need to scroll Instagram. You don't need to scroll through your Twitters. You don't need to scroll through your Facebooks. You don't need to look around in your classroom and wish that you were somebody else. Jesus didn't die for the person that you wished you were. Jesus didn't die for the person that you wished you looked like. He died for you. So if you're looking on Instagram, if you're looking on Twitter, if you're looking on social media for your worth, for your identity, for your value, you're looking in the wrong place. The cross is where you find your worth. The cross is where you find your identity. The cross is where you find your value. And each and every single one of you girls in here are strong, and they're beautiful, and you're smart, and you're wise, and you're enough. And I can't say that unless God says it, and God says it, so I can say it. All right, and that's the truth. And all the guys in here, guys, if you're looking at the TV screens, if you're looking in the movies, if you're looking on your Twitter and your Instagram and your social media and your Facebook and your phone and your classroom, and you're wishing that you were somebody else, Jesus didn't die for the person that you wished you were either. Jesus died for the person that you are right now. Jesus sees you as the person you are right now, and he sees you as the person that you can be. And guys, you're strong, you're handsome, you're enough, you're smart, you're wise, you're capable. Not just because I say so, but because a God who loves you says so. I can't say those things unless God says those things. And God says those things so that I can say those things. And that brings me to my final point, is that we have a lot of shame, right? We've all done things that have made us full of shame, right? And I think a lot of us are afraid to approach Jesus, to start a life with Jesus because of the shame that we have. But our shame actually isn't meant to be a barrier in our life. Our shame isn't meant to be a barrier between us and God. Our shame is actually meant to be a bridge into transformation. As we look in the final 3 verses of this chapter, or of this section, we see that transformation taking place before our very eyes, and it's super cool. It says this, it says, "And Zacchaeus stood and said to the Lord, 'Behold, Lord, the half of my goods I give to the poor, and I have defrauded anyone of anything, I restore it fourfold.' And Jesus said to him, 'Today salvation has come to this house, since he also is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost.'" You know, the reality is people are always remembering you for what you've done. I see it all the time, like I said. Something has said years and years and years ago, something somebody has done years and years and years ago, it's always going to be brought to the surface again. And as a result of something said in the past, people get canceled, like I said. And it breaks my heart, because we see it every single day. And really the only difference between you and me, and you and the people who've been canceled, is that their sin has been publicized. Right? We all deserve to be canceled. Right? But our sins are kept secret. Our sins are in hiding. But one of the beautiful promises of Jesus is that he promises transformation. An invitation to Jesus into your heart, an invitation to Jesus into your life, is an invitation to transformation. It's an invitation to transformation. People will always remember what you did. They may always see you through that lens of your past. There's not much I can do about that. There's not much we can do about that, honestly. But when we invite Jesus into our hearts, when we begin to live for him, we change. We will be changed. Our past no longer has a hold on us. Our past no longer chains us down. Because Jesus sees who we can become. He sees us through the freedom that he promises. And it's not because he's going through Jericho, and it's not because, he sees you up in a tree. All right, I want to talk about a different tree. A tree that was built by the Romans. They'd used this method, this tactic for years. And Jesus came, like I said, to save and seek the lost. And he's not calling up into a tree, right? But he came and died on a tree for you and for me. When I say that you're enough, when I say that you're beautiful and that you're smart and that you're wise and that you're important, I'm not saying it from a place where it doesn't make any sense. I'm not saying it from a place where there's no truth. Or I'm saying it from a place where I know what Jesus went through for me. And I know that if he went through it for me, for you too. Just because I'm holding a microphone in my hand doesn't mean that I have it all together. Just because I'm holding a microphone in my hand and I'm going to be a pastor someday doesn't mean that I don't make mistakes. But Jesus came because he loved you. He came down to save and to seek the lost. Breaking news, you're the lost. Plot twist, you're the lost. He came to save and seek the lost. So if you're lost right now, if you don't know where you are, if you don't know where you're going, maybe you're just kind of tired of going through the motions. Jesus came to seek and save you because he loves you. And that's the gospel. The gospel is that I couldn't do this by myself. I was lost and needed something. And Jesus came to seek and save me. And friends, like I said, he did it for me. I screw up. I'm a big screw up all the time. I do things right sometimes, but for the most part, I mess up. There are so many moments in my life where I don't even feel like I don't even deserve to be up here. But Jesus came to seek, to save the lost. So if you're lost, he's looking for you. What are you doing to look for him? What are you doing to look for him? I want you to think about, I want everybody to close your eyes, bow their heads. Just think about for just a few moments, just like some of the things you want to give up. Some of the things that are holding you back from living a life with Jesus. Maybe it's your friends. Maybe it's your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Maybe it's your schoolwork. Just think about some of the things in your life that you feel like you need to give up. Because what you're doing right now just isn't enough. And if you feel like you're lost, I want you to just raise your hand if you feel like you're just kind of lost right now. It's okay. Nobody's looking. I see you guys. I see you. I see you. If you just feel like you don't know where you're going, you just don't know what's going on, you just feel like, man, Evan, I need help. It's okay. Just raise your hand. I see you. I see you guys. And maybe you're in here and you don't know who Jesus is. Maybe you're just like, man, I just don't see myself as enough. Evan, I'm struggling. I don't see myself as enough. I just can't see myself as enough. Go ahead and raise your hands. I see you. I see you. I see you. It's a real thing, guys. It's real. It's okay. It's okay. I'm going to pray for you guys. Heavenly Father, you're so good. And God, I thank you that you're our direction. I thank you that even though we're hiding, even though we're full of shame, even though we've done things that we're just that we're not proud of, that we're just full of shame. We've done things, we've made big mistakes, we've made small mistakes. God, I just thank you that you meet us with your grace. God, that even when we try to hide, you call up into the tree and you invite us into your house. You invite yourself into our house. You want to be a part of our life, God. You take us to where we're familiar. You take us to where we want to be. God, I pray for my friend who knows they have things to give up and are just having a hard time to. I pray that you give them courage, that you give them wisdom, that you give them the strength and the peace to do so. God, I pray for my friend who's just lost right now. God, I wish that I could say, as somebody who's probably double their age, that I'm not lost either, but I know I am too. I just pray, God, that you would meet them where they are. That you would take them by the hand, that you would just walk with them. God, that they would hear your voice, they would listen to you, they would know where to go. God, show them the way. And God, I pray for my friend who doesn't feel like they're enough, who has a hard time looking themselves in the mirror and loving the person they see. Because they're always looking at themselves with a lens of comparison. through the lens of their past, through the lens of what they think other people see them as. God, I just pray that you give them the eyes to see themselves the way that you do. God, that we would stop looking on social media, we would stop looking in the news, and we would stop looking around at the people around us and trying to define ourselves by those people, by those things. But God, we will look at the cross and just remember that our worth comes from that. God, I just thank you. I thank you for this time. I thank you that you love us. I thank you for your son. God, I think a lot of us are like Zacchaeus more than we want to admit. God, I just thank you that you called up into the tree. I thank you that you see us, that we can't hide from you, that you want to be with us too. We love you, God, so, so much. We pray this all in your beautiful, precious, holy name. Amen. All right. Well, we have a few minutes left of small groups.